Hi guys, it's Grace from Grace Gets Gastric. Today is Tuesday, April 24th, and I'm here for my week 16 post-op VSG update. So to jump right into stats, my name is Grace. I am 5'8", 27 years old, and on April 2nd, 2018, I had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy or VSG weight loss surgery. My highest weight ever recorded was 354 pounds, and that was in May of 2017. I had to do a 6-month medically supervised weight loss diet to qualify for surgery, and over that 6-month period, I lost 35 pounds, so my starting weight day of surgery was 319 pounds. Last week, I came at you with a weight of 263.9, and this morning, I weighed in at 263.5. So, that is a weekly loss of 0.4 pounds, a loss since my starting weight or since surgery of 55.5 pounds, and a loss since my highest weight of 90.5 pounds. So, 0.4 pounds of loss, not the most stellar weight loss. It is still a loss, so hey, I'll take it. I obviously really wanted it to be lower, especially because my next milestone is so close, 2.5 pounds away, but I'm not entirely surprised. Last week I had a over 4 pound weight loss, which is the biggest weight loss I've had in like 2 months, so I'm not surprised that the next week is a lower weight loss. I also just got back from my trip from San Francisco. I think I wasn't drinking enough water. I mean, I was drinking more than like 64 ounces a day, but for how much I was walking, I definitely should have been drinking probably twice that, and I just wasn't. So that's probably affecting some of my weight. I think I'm probably retaining some water, and I also was eating more calories than I have been, and definitely like a little bit higher carb. So I'm sure that had an impact. I mean, obviously I didn't gain any weight. I'm not overly concerned with it. And I'm, jumping right back into my, normal, regularly scheduled eating and drinking today. But I'm not totally surprised that my weight loss just slowed down a little bit for this week. So all of that being said, I suppose the big thing to update on is my trip to San Francisco. So this is my first trip since my weight loss surgery. It was a lot of fun. First of all, it was really great. I don't know if you can see, I got a little bit of a burn. You can kind of tell, not too much in this light, but so not used to the sun. It was a beautiful weekend. It was in like the 70s, all low 70s, high 60s, for like the 3-4 days I was there, which was beautiful. I got in a ton of walking. That's why I think, I'm a little bit dehydrated. So I got like at least 70 ounces of water in every single day. But I also walked like 20,000 plus steps every single day. And for how much I was drinking, I didn't have to pee very often at all. And like my normal day, when I normally get like at least 80 ounces of water, I'm pretty much peeing constantly. And so I just think that because I was sweating so much, because it was hot, there were tons of hills, I was walking a lot, really because of that increase in exercise and movement, I should have been drinking a lot more water. It's just hard to do when you're out and about, and you don't have easy access to a ton of restrooms everywhere, and you just, I'm carrying so much stuff with me because my phone keeps dying, so I have to have like this battery pack, and I did I did the best I could with water, and I'm happy with it. I didn't feel dehydrated, but I do think that that was the case for a little bit. Nutritionally, I was definitely better than I've ever been on a vacation before, but I also splurged a little bit, and I knew I was going to, and I expected it, and I'm totally okay with all of the choices that I made. So I'm not beating myself up for anything I did. I also stayed as low carb as I could and low calorie. A lot of the I was like 1,000 to 1,200 calories, I would say, for those days, which I'm in the usually they're around 900. So, definitely higher, but not like crazy high. I tried this like dragon beard candy, which was, candy. I had a few squares of real Ghirardelli chocolate that I got in Ghirardelli Square. it's like for, I got like ribs one night. So, I was just eating meat, but there was barbecue sauce, so there was sugar in that. And it's like a fattier meat, so like the calories were pretty high, but, I wasn't eating rice or whatever. My breakfasts were like eggs and bacon. We went to a Mexican place, and I got 2 like hard shell tacos and just scraped out the insides, because I specifically got hard shell tacos because I don't like the hard shells, so I knew that I wouldn't be tempted to eat it. But I did have like 8 ounces of pineapple agua fresca, and I'm not a big drinker of my calories. I never have been. I don't usually like juice or anything like that, but agua fresca is freaking delicious, and I never have it, so I got a thing. I had like 8 ounces of it before I ate my meal, and then I was like, I'm eating now, so I can't drink the rest, and I gave it to my friend. What else did I had half of a hush puppy because I had been craving hush puppies for months before surgery, and there's just nowhere you can get them that's good really in Seattle. I went to a place specifically to try them, and they weren't any good, and we went to this like Louisiana restaurant there, and it was so good. Half of a hush puppy. That's when I had my ribs. And what else did I drank. We went to like the Castro and got sangria, and I had some wine, and I got like a fancy bourbon cocktail somewhere at this like cute little bar. And yeah, so it's, I'm actually really happy with the choices I made. I stuck with mostly low carb options, but I let myself try things, and my indulgences were really like the occasional sweet treat, and they weren't big, or things that I don't really have, and like I'm not gonna like, it's not like I'm gonna go out and get agua frescas here. Like I don't ever have them unless it's a special occasion. So I did, and I don't really drink much here. The primary time I drink is when I'm traveling with friends. So I had basically like 3 drinks over the course of 3 days, and yeah, it was all good. I'm really pleased with just the choices I made, and I feel good about it, and I feel like we'll see, and I'll keep you guys updated on how it goes. This is like my first day going back to eating in a more regimented way. My meal times were also pretty skewed because I was eating with people, and like we would eat like a late breakfast, and then a really late lunch, and then a really late dinner. And then I would, try to eat snacks in between. On 2 of the days I did have a protein shake for breakfast, but then 2 of the days we actually had breakfast for breakfast. And so I mostly was getting my protein from actual meals, which is a little bit different than normally. Normally I start my day, my breakfast is a protein shake. But I think and I always had snacks. I think pretty much every day I did have like some jerky or part of a protein bar or a protein shake, one of like those kinds of things that I would eat to like make sure I hit my protein goals. I did hit my protein goals every single day, which I was happy about. I will say I definitely ate more than I should have, and not even just like, than I should have. And I don't mean in a like I shouldn't have eaten that much, like not in a mental way. I mean like physically I definitely overate. Partially, I mean mostly I'm just still not used to how much I can eat. And here when I'm home, I measure every single thing that I consume before I consume it, and so I know how much I'm eating. 3 ounces of food. Occasionally I'll go up to 4 or 5 ounces, very much depending on the type of food it is. But like a lot of the food I was eating was like dense protein. And I definitely just would eat too much of it, and it was good and it was yummy, and I was there and I was talking and I was, with friends, we were eating slowly and stuff. And it still looked like so little, or it came in a big thing. So like I tried to order sides of things when I could. But sometimes you can't. Like I got 2 for the tacos, I got 2 hard shell tacos. I thought they were going to be small, like the small ones. They were a lot bigger than I thought they would be. And I didn't even eat all of the insides of them, but the amount I ate, I was like, I overate. And I think I'm still figuring out how to tell that point between I'm satisfied and I ate too much. And part of it is just a mental thing. And, you know, like I suffer from like needing to empty that thing where you don't want to leave food on your plate. I'm a picker. I always have been. Even when I was fat, go figure. When there's like food on my plate in front of me and like we're just there, like I just pick at it kind of absently, which is not good when you're full and you've stopped eating. So that was definitely something that the most of the times when I ate meals, particularly like with them, like with my friends, I could, like afterwards I was like a little uncomfortable. So I was definitely eating more than like my stomach could handle. And it's hard because I don't really know how to combat that, because here, you know, at home, I measure everything and it all fills me perfectly. Like I don't feel that over fullness. And I like doing that because then I know how much I'm eating, but I feel like I'm not really learning my body's cues very well. And I don't know if it's just I'm not learning, like I'm just not listening to them. I'm clearly not listening to them because I'm like, something's got to tell me like I'm too full. But I don't know, this is sort of a ramble, but that was like one of the biggest things, just really realizing how little I can really eat. And it still hasn't really sunk in, and it's really hard for me to understand how little food I can eat when I haven't pre-measured it. So like one of the days I mentioned I got ribs. I got like the appetizer version of ribs. I got 3 meals out of it. And the first meal, the meal I ate at the restaurant, I definitely ate more than I should have. And I mean, I ate like 2 ribs. And the interesting thing is like I had 6 ribs total, and the other 2, you know, the other 4 ribs I measured out, and each of them gave me about 3 ounces of food. But the 2 ribs I ate at the restaurant, I was over full. And I'm wondering, you know, like they might have just had more meat on them, or it could have just been any kind of circumstances as to why I was too full, or I got so full. I mean, I did have half of a hush puppy as well that night, so like maybe that was the thing that put me over. But just, I don't know, do you guys have any tips on figuring out that your body's cue, or like, you know, like people say they have like a little signal. I don't feel like I have that. I don't know. It's just something you have to work on, but it's something that was harder than I thought it would be to like make myself stop eating when I was still mentally hungry and there was still food there and it was so little, you know, it's still a bit of a mind fuck. Not a huge big deal, not a bad thing, but just a thing. Sorry, I've talked like for ages about that now. The other thing I wanted to mention was walking. So I walked a lot, like I said, like 20,000 steps a day. And if you've ever been to San Francisco, you know it's really hilly. And like I knew that. Seattle's pretty hilly. It is not hilly compared to San Francisco. Oh my God. Like it's not just like, oh, there's like a lot of hill. It's like 45-degree incline. Like my calves hurt right now. Like they're sore. And same with my quads and my ass. It's just, it's crazy. So it was like, I mean, I was like elevated heart rate, pumping, walking a lot, and it was cool. Like I was definitely like struggling at points. Like, and you know, like the last day I was there, I left in the afternoon, and my friend was like, oh, let's go on like a little hike in the morning. That is not something old Grace would have wanted to do. New Grace was like, I know it's gonna be fun, but more walking. But you know, I did it, and like I was definitely like pausing and like I need a minute. And my friend's like super fit, and you know, she was cool about it. But it was just so not to say that like I'm now just whizzing around, but it definitely highlighted like a year ago that the hills and stuff would have been really challenging for me. And so the cool thing is that I actually went on a trip exactly a year ago to Chicago. So I went and visited my friend in Chicago last April, like this 3rd weekend in April. And thankfully Chicago was really flat. Yay. But I remember thinking, I was like, oh yeah, I walked like 15 to like 20 plus thousand steps a day every day I was there for sure. So I went back and looked, and my steps were like the most steps I got that day was while I was there was 15,000. They were closer to like the 10 to 12,000 range. And I remember feeling like I had walked a lot more. Like the way that I felt on this trip, walking 20,000 steps, like 3.5 days. So I walked 20,000 steps 3 days, but then like the first day was my flight there. I had 15, and then the day I left, I had 10. So 20,000 steps for 3 days in a row. And the way that I felt, physically, you know, a little sore from doing that, is the way that I felt in Chicago doing like half of that amount. And that was on like in a flat city. And that was kind of cool to like really think about and see and realize like I really am getting a lot of benefits. You know, like physically, I'm just more able to move. And I remember thinking that I had walked 20,000 steps while I was in Chicago, and I hadn't. Because the way that my body feels right now is how my body felt doing half of that amount. So that was, I mean, kind of a cool thing to think about and see. Like I'm definitely more active, and I really felt positive about taking advantage of my time in San Francisco and really being able to enjoy it, and realizing that I still have a good ways to go. You know, I'm excited to lose even more weight and hopefully be able to do even more things. I want to get more into biking. I used to bike a lot as a kid. I haven't biked in a long time though, so I wouldn't feel comfortable biking around the city. But yeah, so my trip was great. I feel really positive about it. I had a lot of fun. I made good nutritional choices that with more indulgences than I have in my daily life. And I am 100% okay with that, because I think that's, for me, like that's an important part of travel, especially when you're with friends, is to kind of enjoy yourself, to be able to sample some local delicious food, but not go crazy. And I still stayed, you know, low-ish, and considering how much I was moving, which was, you know, even on days when I work out here, I maybe get 15,000 steps, and that's unlikely. It's usually more like 10 to 13. So it's definitely like more active than I even am in my daily life. So I'm absolutely okay with the extra calories consumed. I had other stuff I wanted to talk about that's not related to my trip, but this is already getting kind of long, and I can save those for next week, or maybe even, yeah, because next week is going to be, I'll also be filming my 4-month post-op video. Oof, so crazy. There's so much time is passing. And yeah, hopefully I'll be coming at you with a bigger loss, but I'm gonna just continue to work things. I will say I'm a little bummed because today's Tuesday. This is when I normally work out at the gym. I 100% was planning to do that. I have my bag packed, was ready to go. My alarm went off, and I always hit snooze on my alarm. I set my alarm purposefully 10 minutes early. So then I usually just use that 10 minutes like I'm in a bed and I'm awake, but I'm just like mentally preparing myself to get up. This time, I think because I was kind of sleeping on an uncomfortable like pull-out couch and didn't get like the best sleep, plus I was moving so much, and I must have, my phone, one way you swipe to snooze, one way you swipe to turn off the alarm, and I clearly did the turn off the alarm one because it didn't go off again, and then I woke up at 8, so 2 hours later is when I woke up. Actually no, 8:45, so almost 3 hours later. And I know this because my roommate, who I work out with, did the exact same thing, and she also didn't wake up. So both of us wake up at like 9, being like, shit, we're late for work, we didn't work out. So I didn't work out this morning, a little disappointed. I was kind of looking forward to like just jumping right back into it, because I know, you know, the longer I put it off, the harder it's going to be. So I'm debating on if I'm definitely going to work out Thursday morning, because that's my normal. I'm debating on if I want to work out tomorrow morning, Wednesday, because I want to eventually go to working out more frequently during the week. I'm thinking like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll see. I might just stick with Thursday and use this to rest. Like I said, I walked a lot. I am feeling a little bit sore. My back is hurting a little bit, my lower back. Not a ton, but I think just like all of the walking on like pavement, and I was carrying like a little backpack, and it was kind of heavy because I would have all my shit in it, like a water bottle and my battery pack and sunscreen and all this stuff. So just a little bit of pressure. Nothing crazy, but some time to rest. Anyways, I think that's everything. I am going to go, but thank you all so much for watching. I have a lot of videos to catch up on YouTube videos. I think I've made a pretty good dent in it. I was watching them at the airport and then last night, so I think maybe I'm getting caught up on those, hopefully. But have a beautiful, wonderful day, you guys. I will talk to you when I talk to you. Bye.